And the cool thing about this is that you get to develop the mindset of really trading only when you need to, which means you are free to do whatever you want. I think I've reached a point where I don't really know what to do more. I feel like I've done all the things to do in Ho Chi Minh City, and it's kind of bad. That's what happens when you stay a long time to one place. But they say don't think when you're hungry, and I'm kind of hungry right now, so I'll go find some food and then think about what I'm gonna do today. Wow, look at that lack of traffic. I could be walking like in the middle of the street and nothing would happen. Incredible, there's like no one outside. But I was warned, this is for the Tet Festival. We're only the 13th today, and I think that's gonna be worse and worse, like less and less traffic. That's starting now, not bad. But yeah, it's gonna be much more calm in the next couple of days. I was trying to think in which direction to go to, but I think I have no clue. I have no idea where to go. I think I've seen a lot of the area around here. I've seen the water, I've seen the markets. There's not much else to see, I think, unless you guys have any idea. But I'm just gonna go walk, and I do have a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna go near the water as always, and that's gonna be a good place to work. I'm telling you, the streets are nothing like they used to be. It's incredible. No matter where I come from or no matter where I go in Ho Chi Minh City, I always arrive around this park with the trees and everything. There's something to be said about the fresh air or something. Okay. Now I'm trying to find an hotel to go work, and I'll tell you why in a second. Personally, I think it's very hard to have $1 million idea in a crappy environment, in a crappy workplace. That's why I like to work in hotels and big places that are a little bit more fancy, a little bit more prestigious, because I tend to be more focused and I tend to have better ideas, to be more creative. So I like to work in some coffee shops sometimes, but big hotels are better when you want to do focused work, when you want to be more creative, so I like it. That's what I've been doing all afternoon. Now the sun is really setting up nicely with a nice like yellow color. I'm gonna walk back to the apartment and let's take a look at the environment. If you guys watched yesterday's video, you know that I took a day off, kind of to travel and explore the city and everything. And I didn't miss any trade. But the thing is, I knew I would not miss any trade because of what I'm going to share with you guys today. A while back, I wrote an article on the 70-30 principle, and this is from someone pretty smart in the market who said something like 70% of the move happened 30% of the time. A little bit like the 80-20 principle, if you heard of that before. But this is the 70-30, which doesn't make that much of a difference, pretty much the same. But the principle is the following. The trades you're gonna take are usually gonna happen like 30% of the time, or 20% of the time, or whatever percent of the time, depending on how selective you are. Your job is to be able to identify when those trades are gonna happen, when you will have to be in front of the chart. Because you don't have to watch the chart all day, even not all weeks. There's gonna be weeks that are dead, and you know you don't place any trade. And that's when it's really important to define when you place most of your trades. And this will depend on your strategy. But the idea is that you wanna train yourself not to look at the chart when you know there's no setup, when you know you won't take trades. And then you can enjoy your life, you can do whatever you want. But noting it down and following that is tough sometimes. Like I have a tendency to go back even though I know that I won't place a trade probably, but just to go back. And it's kind of safer in a way. but it's kind of also making me feel more overwhelmed sometimes. Like I have to go back watch the chart at that time, or I feel like I might miss out on something. So it's just organizing the whole thing that might be a little bit of trouble, but the idea is really, really cool. So based on your strategy right now, you will want to define what would you need to see on the chart to consider placing a trade. Not to place a trade, like not your whole setup, but just part of it. Like when would you really be careful, and when would you be very likely to have a setup to enter. And for my case, I know that for my setup to happen and for a trade to be triggered or to be entered, I need two things that are like very basic. So I need price to be at a specific zone, a support or resistance zone, and I also need price to be near the top or the low of the Bollinger Band. If price like in the middle on the daily chart of the Bollinger Band, and I want to trade the daily chart, it's worthless. Or if it's in the middle of the Bollinger Band on a forward chart, I know I won't trade for that day. It's impossible. Impossible for, let's say, price to shoot up and go back down afterwards. It's impossible. Like in a day, that's like 2 4-hour candle. That's impossible. So I won't even look at the trade then. So I would technically not have to look at the chart on these days. But the thing is, I have to keep track on like all the pairs I follow. So there might be 15 pairs, but the same rule applies. On those 15 pairs, most of the time I won't have to place a trade. Most of the time the pairs are all going to do the same thing or something very similar, which means they're going to be between Bollinger Bands, or they're going to be like far away from the support or resistance areas. So you want to define this for yourself, and that's going to depend on every single trader, because you might have some criteria that I don't have. I sure have some criteria that you don't have, and that's why you have to define it for yourself. So take a sheet of paper, write this down, and challenge yourself. If you see that on all the pairs to trade, you are in the 70% of the time, which is without any significant move, without any need to place a trade, well, you might as well do something with your life and do whatever you want to do, and then come back. And the cool thing about this is that you get to develop the mindset of really trading only when you need to, which means you are free to do whatever you want. And when you get to that point, number one, you're less likely to interact with your trades, right? Because if you don't look at the chart for new setup or to manage your setup when you don't need to, which is easier. And at the same time, every time you look at the chart, you kind of have this mental energy that you drop or that you use to look at the chart. And you want to keep this maybe for something else. So that might be useful for whatever you want to do on the side of trading, whether that's going to be on your business or your job, and you can become better in all those areas. So I hope that's useful, and I hope that you guys are going to apply the advice. Give a like if you enjoyed the video today, comment below if you have any question, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Ciao.